We were snuggled into the crease of my daughter's sleigh bed, reading Black is Brown is Tan about an interracial family made up of the same parts as ours. The sun dripped in through the slanted wooden shades and made shadows on the peach walls in her bedroom. "You look just like the girl in the book." I pointed to the curly hair and brown eyes. The girl's skin was darker than my 5-year-old's. "I don't look like her, Mommy. She's Black," my daughter said. "Well, she's part Black, and so are you." "No, I'm not. I'm white. Just look at me." She held out her arms as proof. Butterscotch skin, thick copper curls. It was easy to see that white was only half the story. Her father, Dennis, is white, with his Irish grandmother's freckled skin and red hair, and his Finnish grandfather's long limbs and blue eyes. I am Black, cocoa-colored like my grandmothers from Oklahoma and Mississippi. The horror I felt must have registered on my face because she smiled and added, "I know I'm Black on the inside because I was in your belly, Mommy." That seemed much worse, like an inverted Oreo. Kids at school always called me Oreo because of how I talked, the Duran Duran albums I listened to, the etymology classes I got excited about, all proof to them of white insides. This wasn't supposed to happen. My husband and I moved across the river from Manhattan to Montclair, New Jersey, when Desiree was an infant because, according to Interrace magazine, this suburb 12 miles west of the city was the best place for interracial families to live. The kids in my daughter's preschool were different colors from different cultures and classes. Every day, I happily sent her off to its cocoon of otherness. Then, on our way to preschool one morning, Desiree asked why I call myself Black when, she pointed, I wasn't Black, like the SUV idling in the drop-off. "That's just how people of our race, of my race, have described themselves or have been called by other people." I stammered before she lost interest and started singing along with the Music for Aardvark CD. What had kept me clinging to Black? Even when people began to follow Jesse Jackson's lead in adopting African American, I gripped tightly onto Black. Africa was a massive and varied continent, and my people had been in America for centuries. African might have been my ancestry, but Black was my experience. I wanted to define myself. Desiree did too. For both of us, this was tricky business. I was her age when I told my sister that I wanted to be white so the mixed girl up the road and the Asian girl down it would stop calling my hair nappy and saying my skin looked like doo-doo. Up to that point, I'd liked my color, and I didn't give much thought to the varieties of skin tone in my family until a few years after that, when my dad picked me up from a cheerleading squad sleepover and the hostess asked if he was white or something. His father, my grandfather, Martin Luther Ford, had pin-straight black hair and was as white as any white man I'd ever seen. Until I was 12, I never questioned why he looked so different from my brothers and sisters and me, the darkest of us all. That summer, Grandpa visited us in New Jersey for the first time. It might have even been his first time across the Mason-Dixon line. We usually visited him at his home in a New Orleans project near the French Quarter. Grandpa was in his late 70s by then, legally blind although he insisted he could see, and he spent most days at the senior center while my parents were at work. In the 2 hours between when the senior center bus dropped him at the end of our driveway and when my mother came home, it was up to me to entertain him and make sure he didn't burn the house down. As an almost teen, I wanted nothing to do with adults, let alone an old man with a slow drawl and bad hearing. Grandpa mostly listened to baseball on the radio and made small talk about the weather. Then, one day, he came home with a hand-painted macaroni necklace, slipping it over my head as I poured him a glass of iced tea. "I made a little something for you, sugar," he said. I pinched the pasta pieces like I was praying the rosary and asked, "Grandpa, are you white?" He didn't hesitate. He wasn't white, he said, but he used to pretend he was to get better-paying jobs when New Orleans was segregated. Grandpa had delivered groceries throughout the city without any of his white customers realizing that a black man was entering through their front doors and handling their food. At night, he took whatever seat he wanted on the trolley car, something his wife and children could never do.